What is up, BBN? The Cats get a huge win against Duke, 77-72 in the Champions Classic in Atlanta. What a performance. Can we say Kentucky basketball is back? The BBN is running rampant. The- Everybody's excited. The Cats are back. And what a breath of fresh air. What a great second half performance from the Cats. I want to get into it a little bit here. Before I get into it, I just want to shout out Mark Pope and that coaching staff and also the players for performing and doing all the right things to beat the Blue Devils for the first time and feels like forever. I think it was the first time in like 10 years or something like that. Feels like even longer than that, to be honest with you. It feels like forever since we've won a game in the Champions Classic. That's usually a game where we play decent and then get beat in the end, or the last time we played Duke in it, I'm pretty sure we got blew out. So it's just a very impressive welcome to the Mark Pope era moment for Kentucky and this fan base. I think it nothing can unite us more than getting a big win against a big time opponent like Duke, who a lot of us can't stand, me included. So big time performance all the way around. I thought the first half was kind of, I wouldn't say mediocre, but we really struggled on the defensive end. That's just a fact. Mark Pope addressed that in his post game and his halftime interviews. Just said we couldn't figure out how to stop them, especially Cooper Flagg and Knipple, which were the two guys that I felt like would really give us a hard time. But they went in the locker room and we saw adjustments. We saw adjustments on how to guard a ball screen. We saw adjustments on how to guard Cooper and Knipple. Knipple didn't hardly do anything in the second half. Only shot 5 of 20 overall after that really good run in the first half. So Coach Pope and his staff really dug in, saw what needed to be fixed, told the Cats at halftime, and here we are with a big time primetime win. And let me just say something now, we're not going to be underrated anymore. I feel like the national media is really taking a good look at us now. It's sad that it took this long, but I said last episode we are a top 10, top 15 team at the minimum. And now, after last night, they've proved to me we can go with anyone. I'm very excited to see where we go as the season goes on. I predicted 7 losses at the beginning of the year, and this Duke game was one of them. So I think we're in for a very good season. You look at the non-conference schedule now, I mean, it really doesn't look that bad. Clemson beat EKU by like 12. That's our tough road game, which Gonzaga at a neutral site will be tough. But other than that, the schedule looks really favorable as you go into conference play. So, but I don't want to go too far in advance. I really want to focus on what a big time win this Duke game was. I feel like this is a game, the last 6, 7 years especially, where we get beat by 12 to 15 points. I feel like we wouldn't have adjusted to guarding the two best players from Duke, and they would have just kept repeatedly doing the same thing, getting to the basket, scoring on us. We would have just kind of took it and hope we could outscore them. But this is a new era. We're not doing that anymore. Coach Pope, like I said, adjusted things. The guys did a good job applying those adjustments on the court, and we saw our shots finally started falling in the second half too. I felt like we didn't really shoot the ball that well in the first half either, but in the second half they start falling, and we lock up on the defensive side of the ball for the most part. Duke missed some shots that normally they probably would have hit. All those combined, you come out with a victory. I want to shout out Otega Owe, first player we're going over, man. He absolutely clutched up in the last minute of that game. The Cats were, I think it was tied, and with 12 seconds left, Otega comes down. Well, actually, Cooper Flagg comes down. Andrew Carr or Amari one was on him, and Otega is right there doubling him. Cooper Flagg spins, which I will say, if you go back and watch it in the huddle, Mark Pope says, watch the Cooper Flagg spin. Otega's there for the double, gets the swipe and steal, and he's gone. Gets fouled, knocks down the 2 free throws. What a great moment. Okay, so there's one moment. You're thinking, okay, man, that was a clutch play. Shout out to Otega. He might have saved us. Then He hits the free throws. Duke gets the ball back with 10 seconds left, something like that. Cooper Flag gets the ball, goes to the corner. Amari Williams steps up on him. Cooper Flag steps out of bounds while his hand is on the ball, and we get the ball with up two with 5 seconds left, 5.5 seconds left. What a ballsy play call. It was apparently a read for Kobe Brea. I did see when Pope drawed it up, the long pass, and he said, throw it if it's there. Two people sprinted to the baseline. Both Duke defenders went with them. Lamont Butler, wide open deep, and what a dot by Kobe Brea. An absolute dot of a throw. Looked like prime Andre Woodson back there. Absolutely a dime right to Butler. He gets fouled, knocks down one. So we're up three with like 5.1 left. Misses the second one, and once again, Otega Owe jumps over Cooper Flag to get the rebound, pulls it back out, gets fouled with .5 left, hits 2 free throws, and the Cats win by 5. Can't say enough about the clutch performance of Otega Owe on both sides of the ball, hitting the free throws. If that's a guy that we can rely on as the season goes on, as March comes around, it's going to be huge to have another guy because I know he didn't play well at all last night, but I think Jackson Robinson's also going to be that guy that can go get a bucket when we need it in crunch time. But shout out to Otega for what he done last night. Shout out to Andrew Carr also, who I said last episode we hadn't seen the best of Andrew Carr. I still believe that. Well, I believed that before last night. Last night, I think we saw what I expected from him. He kind of struggled on Cooper Flag defensively, but offensively, he got a bucket when we needed it. Got a huge and one that tied up the game with his free throws at the under 4 minute timeout. He just did great things offensively that really helped us knock down a couple shots. Just a very good performance from him. I feel like he crashed the boards more. I talked about that last episode yesterday. I wanted to see Andrew Carr crash the boards more. I thought he rebounded very, very well. I don't know what he ended up with, but I definitely know it was more than 3 because there was times I looked up and I'm like, man, he had 5 rebounds. 17 points, 5 boards for Andrew Carr, 5 of 8 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3. It's a very good performance. Owe had 15 points, 6 boards. I feel like he's one of the best rebounding guards we've had in a minute. Maybe Isaiah Briscoe, and Reed Shepard was a good rebounding guard too, but Owe really helps the bigs with rebounds, so we definitely need him to keep that up as well. Amari, very close to another double-double, 10 points, 8 boards. Didn't shoot the ball well, but he did run the offense through him. Made good passes. Just did a very good job, had 2 assists. I didn't like him going one-on-one with Duke's big guy that much just because he was so big and long, but I think the guy from Duke is kind of like a freak athlete. I don't think Amari will struggle that bad on offense against SEC centers, to be honest with you. But I think he did a really solid job all night long. Kobe Brea off the bench hit 2 threes, hit a good layup, had 8 points, 5 boards, and 2 assists. He hit 2 big threes when we needed him. I thought they were going at him defensively in the first half, him and Andrew Carr both, but I thought Kobe did a good job. I think Kobe had a couple steals because there was a couple times where they would go right at him and he would swap it, and it would lead to a fast break for us. Most of the time, ended in points. So shout out to Kobe Brea. We all have saw that his defensive ability lacks compared to his offense, but that's also because he's just a straight up knockdown shooter. Missed a couple last night, but before that, he was automatic. So I think Kobe did exactly what he needed to do. Could he have scored a little bit more? Yeah, but 8 points and 5 boards, another guard getting 5+ rebounds. You can't ask for more than that. And a guy I really want to shout out who I picked on a little bit yesterday, Brandon Garrison. I said his offensive game obviously needed work. He showed last night that he has an offensive game that's worth paying attention to. Knocked down a very long 2 that almost was a 3. Got a couple layups. I think he even hit a mid-range jumper and finished with 8 points and 4 rebounds. He had a sequence there that really helped flip the game. He had a big block, I think it was 2 baskets in a row One was a layup on a heck of a pass, but from I think it was from Butler to him, but just a very, very good performance all the way around. I want to shout out Kirk Risa, who had two threes and almost hit a crazy shot. It looked so good. Okay, it was tied 72-72. I'm pretty sure, when he took the shot. And it was like with 30 some seconds left. The shot clock was winding down. We hadn't had a very good offensive possession, and Kerr pulled from a couple feet beyond the 3-point line, and it looked really good. I thought it was going. And if that shot would have went, man, it would have been one of those top moments in Kentucky history. And it looked so good. I thought it was dropping, but he ends up missing it. But I thought Kerr brought a great amount of energy on the defensive side. Really, I mean, usually he's an offensive guy, but he really did good with the defensive play. I thought. I mean, he only went 2 of 9 on offense, but he did bring the speed. He sped up the offense once again, but I thought he was not a defensive liability. Ansley Almanor, a guy that only played 10 minutes but came in and knocked down a three early in the first half. Very good performance from him. And Lamont Butler, you can't say enough about him. I mean, his offense struggles some, but his defensive ability to just pester their point guard is going to be something that I'm going to love watching all year long. 9 points, 4 assists, 3 boards. That's good for him. I will say, for a guy that is mostly a lockdown defender, when you get that on offense, you take it. I thought he did a pretty good job on Knipple and Proctor as well. But, this Duke team, we're gonna look up in March, and this one's gonna be very high up on our resume. I think, Duke is a team that I don't necessarily want to see again in the tournament, but if we do, I'm going to take our guys as well. I mean, they just beat them, and in my opinion, we didn't even play our best game. So I'm very excited to see if we were to get matched up in March again. Let's run it back and let's see what happens. But Cooper Flag and Kniffel, both guys that are going to dominate the ACC this year. I feel like I honestly believe that ACC conference is Duke's to lose. I don't see anybody else that could contend with them. I mean, North Carolina's decent, but I mean, I don't see North Carolina contending with Duke for the ACC title. Now, as far as the SEC goes, we need to have a talk about being projected 8th in the SEC. Can we just stop that? Can we stop talking about that now? Because when I first saw that, it honestly infuriated me because I see the talent we have. And there's no scenario in which I think there's 7 SEC teams better than us. And now I think the national media sees that. You go out in Mark Pope's 3rd career game and you beat a top 10 team, almost top 5 team. And I think the national level of respect goes up. So I couldn't believe the SEC rankings when they came out in the preseason. I can't wait to see us prove them wrong. I really do not think there's any way this team finishes below the top 5, top 4 of the SEC. I think we have a chance to go win the SEC just from the play style Pope plays. Alabama will be someone who's tough to beat for the regular season SEC title, but I'm pretty sure we get them at home. I think we play them twice, but we do get them at home 1 game. But that's something to think about as the season goes on. So I want to shout out Mark Pope and what he did for the team. Apparently, before the Cats came to Atlanta in a film study, Coach Pope showed them a montage of Duke and Kentucky history of them playing each other. Obviously showed him the Christian Laettner thing, the 1978 championship, all the way up to present day. And I think this team is really, really buying in to the fact they play for Kentucky. And I think that falls on Coach Pope for really pounding that into them. I think that the guys are very happy to be here. They're very happy to represent the BBN. They're very happy to represent the state. And I think that's exactly what this fan base needs. We needed a fresh face, but not only a fresh face, but a guy who really gets it, who really understands what it's like to be one of us. What he understands BBN and understands how important it is for us. Understands that this win makes the fan base super happy. I mean, did you see the guy after the game pumping his fist, hugging his wife, hugging his daughter, pumping his fist to the crowd like, we're here. We are back. This is what BBN has wanted. And I fully trust Coach Pope to lead us on to bigger and better things, even bigger than beating a number 6 ranked team in a neutral site. I'm buckled in. I'm all in. I'm ready to watch this team as the year goes on. And I know BBN is, but I can't say enough about how good of a hire this has been. I felt like all day long yesterday, I felt like there was a different outlook on the game. I thought some people were like, I don't care if we win or lose. I just want to see us go out there and compete. I want to see where we are. And then some people thought we're winning this game. We're excited to be a part of this. We're ready to watch us get a big time win, and those people were correct. I was kind of in the middle. I kind of thought Duke was the better team that had more talent and that would beat us. And then there's other times I thought, and I think I said it yesterday. Not only did I pick us to win by 5, by the way, I'm pretty sure, but I thought I said if it comes down to a one possession game, I trust Coach Pope because of the offensive plays he draws up, because of the defensive switches he makes. You saw the Ortega double, which led to the steal. You saw the inbounds play, stuff like that. That's what I'm talking about. You've got a guy who coaches X and O's, who makes adjustments. I feel confident when it comes down to March, SEC tournament, NCAA tournament. When it's a one possession game, I'm super confident in this coaching staff and these players because I think Coach Pope puts them in a position to succeed, and they just got to go do it. And I think that's 100% going to happen as the season goes on. You're going to see. I think we win more close games than we lose this season. And let's hope when it comes to March that we're on the winning side of those. So I want to know, what do you all think? I mean, my phone blew up last night, so I know for sure BBN's excited. The numbers came back. I looked at the numbers before I got in here to record this episode. The episode yesterday had more plays in one day than the previous episode that was on there, that's been on there for a week. So that's how I know right there. BBN was excited for the game yesterday. That's why I thought I had to get that pregame episode done. And I'm glad y'all enjoyed it. Received positive feedback on it. So I know I'm very confident that this episode will do good numbers because everybody's excited. I mean, KSR post game last night, I listened to it, as did I'm sure everybody who's listening to this. Matt Jones said that at 1 a.m. last night, he thinks that the post game show did bigger numbers than it's done in a long time, maybe ever. And I do want to say, if y'all get a chance, go listen to Coach Pope's call in. If you don't listen to anything else on the post game, go listen to how happy Coach Pope is for BBN. I want to take a second to shout him out for that. But the point that I'm trying to make is this fan base is ecstatic. They were ready to explode. They were ready to see something to cheer about. They were ready to see something to just be so happy about. And we got that. You saw that with the fan reaction around Lexington, around Kentucky. You saw it on Twitter. People burning couches in State Street, which, do we really want to do that for regular season game? I don't know. But you know what? We've been through this crap where we dread the Champions Classic because we know it's going to be a close game and then we're just going to get beat in the end. So you know what? Just do what you want. Celebrate how you want to. If burning the couch is what you want to do, then that's my opinion. Go do that. I celebrated by being as giddy as a middle schooler watching his favorite NFL team or NBA team win a championship. I mean, it was a revival. It was a breath of fresh air to see us go in and arguably be the less talented team, get down early and then be down by 9 at halftime and fight and claw our way back. I posted a post on Facebook on the Wildcat World page with I can't remember if it was the 8-minute timeout or the 4-minute timeout. And I said, win or lose this game, these cats are not going to give up. They have it instilled in them. They're going to fight till the buzzer. I think that reflects on the coach, the coaching staff, and the players themselves. and that makes me excited. They could have gave up. We were down 9, we couldn't buy a bucket going into the second half, and we clamped down on the defensive end. Shots started to drop, and here we are. So, just a very good all around effort by everyone. Shout out to BBN who traveled to Atlanta. I really, really wanted to go. I wish I would have just went by myself. Everybody around me had to work, couldn't take off midweek. But man, I would have loved to have been there. It was a great environment, and I was shocked how cheap tickets were, to be honest with you. Usually Champions Classic tickets are pretty high up there. Last night was not bad at all, but I'll take the memory of watching it in the house with my kids and celebrating, waking them up, screaming. So, Jax woke up this morning and was like, I'm pretty sure Kentucky won, didn't they? And I said, yeah. And he said, yeah, I thought I heard you screaming last night. But just, I mean, like I said, I was giddy as a middle schooler. I mean, I still am giddy. I'm still reeling. I mean, it was hard to fall asleep last night because of, I just wanted to consume all the content that I could. I'm going to go back today probably and watch some more highlights of the game and just realize, how good of a performance that second half was and not take it for granted for sure. Because, like I've said many times, this is a game we lost previously. It just is. That's a fact. I hate relating everything back to the guy that was here before, but it's true. It's so true. That's a game where, even if we made a comeback, we would get beat in the last minute just off of pure execution. So, very refreshing. Shout out to Coach Pope, BBN. The Cats are back. And I could not be any more happy than I am right now for the fan base, for Coach Pope himself and his family. I know the win's huge to him. I think this fan base deserves a big time moment like this. Every college basketball podcast talking about the Cats this morning. So we will not be under the radar anymore. So after that recap, I'm very excited to say the Cats will go into next week's game 3-0. That's what we wanted. And the Cats play Tuesday against Lipscomb at home. Lipscomb comes in. They're 2-2 right now. I think they play one more game before us. Yeah, they play Western before us as part of the BBN Invitational. That game starts at 7 on Tuesday night. Lipscomb has already played against Arkansas. Arkansas beat them by 16. Lipscomb beat Duquesne by 5, beat Wofford by 9, and lost last night to Belmont. Belmont by 1. I thought they did. I didn't get a chance to watch that game, but I did see it as the game was going on, the score pop up. And so Lipscomb is 2-2. It's no secret. I expect the Cats to take care of business against Lipscomb. This is liable to be one of the closer games of like the non-conference. I think Lipscomb comes in, like I said, they're 2-2, but every game they've had has been close as far as inferior opponents like that would compare to us. It's been close. The Arkansas beat them by 16, but Lipscomb did give them a game. In the second half, it was close. I watched some of it. They're led in scoring by Jacob Ognasiewicz. That's what we're going to say. Averaging 24 a game. That's a guy you're definitely going to have to stop. He's also averaging 7 rebounds a game. Their guard, Joe Anderson, is a guy who plays similar to Kirk Carissa in the fact that he likes to pass it a lot instead of going at the rim and shooting. Kerr will pull up and shoot, but Joe Anderson averaging 4 assists a game. I think the Cats, I could see a little bit of a slow start just because having a week off after a huge win against Duke. I could see us kind of come out of the gate struggling, but I like the Cats. I'm going to say by 22. I think we get back to that 100-point mark. And 101-79 is the score I'm going with. I think it's very similar to the other 2 non-conference games, but I think Lipscomb might play us a little closer in the first half just due to us having a week off and kind of coming out maybe a little bit sloppy, but we'll see. I hope I'm wrong. Let's see what happens. I'm not going to sit here and break down a Lipscomb tape like Coach Pope will. We know he will. He'll go by every single player, give us their strengths and weaknesses, and dive into the data on the best way to stop them. But I'm super glad to have a coach like that. I just wanted to mainly take this episode to recap Duke. I mean, how could you not? It was a huge win for Kentucky. I think BBN will be on this high until that next Tuesday. Stinks that we got to wait 6 days now to watch these guys get back on the floor, but we'll see how they do, how they respond after a big win. I expect Coach Pope to have them ready to get another win, and then after Tuesday against Lipscomb, we play the Friday against Jackson State. So after the Tuesday, we only have to wait 2 days after to see the Cats back on the floor again. So let me know what you all think. Like I said, my phone blew up last night of everybody being happy. Phone calls, text messages, to the Wildcat World Facebook page. Y'all are the best, but that's also how I know, like I said, BBN's invested in this. They're ready to see this team make a big run. Where do the Cats go in the AP poll was one question I got last night. I think if we're not in the top 15, bordering the top 10, I think that's a huge mistake, to be honest with you, from AP. We'll see, but I expect us to definitely be at least 15th, maybe even higher. And I think we'll just keep going up as the season goes on. If you beat Duke, Clemson, and Gonzaga in your non-conference and go into SEC play undefeated, I think you're top 5. Do I expect that to happen? No, I think we'll at least drop 1. But I mean, like I said at the beginning of the episode, our schedule looks extremely favorable now that you've got over that hump of not losing to in the Champions Classic. I mean, it looks very good to continue this winning streak for a while. Let's see if the Cats can do that. I'm very ready already. Like I said, can we just tip the Lipscomb game off right now? I'll be good with it. So I like the Cats. Like I said, I think they get over that 100-point mark. Give me, let's see, who's an MVP pick I haven't picked yet this year? Give me Andrew Carr. I like Andrew Carr to continue his offensive performance. Had a big one against Duke. I think he goes 2 games in a row with big time offensive performances. I think he got in his groove against Duke, and I think he continues that on against Lipscomb on Tuesday night. So thank you all for listening. I know several of you were ready for this episode last night, but it was late. I was trying to just consume what everybody else was saying, kind of give my own spiel off of that. And I just can't thank you all enough for caring enough to want to listen to this, for want me to put out an episode. You all are the best. This has been JD's Wildcat World. We're available everywhere you get your podcast: Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, all the above. Thank you all so much. The Cats get a huge statement win against the number 6 team in the country, the Duke Blue Devils, 70-72. And this is just the beginning of the Mark Pope era. We're in for a great ride. And we'll see you all next week when we recap, hopefully, a win against Lipscomb. Thank you all. You are the best. And as always, go Cats.